Okay, this is first in a series of discussions on how you should work with HVAC service techs. HVAC meaning heating, ventilating, and air conditioning. You've had a problem in your equipment, so you call somebody out. Okay, first thing, do not assume he's a thief. The relationship's just going to go downhill from there. When you're talking to this tech, try to realize some of these techs do not have real good people skills. Some do, some don't. That's not a good way to determine whether he's a good tech. Some of them just aren't very good at talking. Maybe a heck of a tech, but not too good at talking. So don't just reject him for that. Certifications are common anymore. The NATE certification is pretty common. And there's nothing wrong with NATE certification, but it does not absolutely guarantee you're going to get quality repair. And the lack of certification does not necessarily mean poor quality. A lot of the guys that are in this industry are not real good at tests and books, but they may be very good in the field. So I don't have a problem with NATE, it's okay, but I would not reject someone without it. Do not reject him if he's not perfectly clean. The guy starts out in the morning, clean clothes, shower, so on. But by the end of the day, this is a physical skill. He does have to get into dirty places and do undirty work, and he doesn't have all the things that are necessary to clean up after each job. Sloppiness I'm not real thrilled about, but if he's an oil furnace serviceman, he smells like oil, that's just the way it's going to be. His wife knows all about it. Okay, hairstyles, body art, grooming, those things don't repair your equipment. Avoid the quick judgments if you can. Okay, he should be listening to the problem. He should not immediately make a diagnosis without going down and looking at the equipment. He should be thoroughly checking this equipment out, then coming up and telling you what the problem is, and you'll proceed from there. If he wants to replace the furnace or air conditioner without a thorough inspection, he's not being honest. He may say, that thing's 10, 15 years old, we should just throw that away. There's better stuff out there now. Well, there is better stuff out there, there's more efficient stuff out there, but when you figure the cost of replacement, it may not make sense. This equipment is good for a long time. Don't jump to replace. And if he wants you to jump to replace right off the bat, that's a red flag. Okay, if the company wants to send out a salesman immediately but cannot get a serviceman out for a day or so, run for the hills. Absolutely. All you are is a lead for replacing new furnaces to this company. They are not going to be giving you what you really need. They'll try to sell you something whether you need it or not. Careful with that one. Recognize scare tactics for what they are. Most of this stuff is pretty much safe. Doesn't mean there aren't things that can be unsafe from either installation or manufacture. That manufacturer does have a great stake in safety, so generally the equipment will be safe. There are things like carbon monoxide poisoning with gas furnaces, and that is an issue. However, generally try to recognize whether the guy is just trying to scare you to make a sale. A little tougher to do than you might think. Okay, beware the tech that tells you all other companies are thieves and he's the only one that's honest. There's plenty of good equipment, or plenty of good repair companies out there, and they employ people that are generally honest. So beware of this. The guy that tears down everybody else is probably not so good himself. Okay, Also beware of the tech that tells you certain manufacturers only make junk and only the one he uses is the only good one. Manufacturers use a lot of the same components. There are higher and lower quality equipment, but the manufacturers use a lot of the same stuff, and basically most of them are pretty much on a level on being safe. Some do last longer than others because some do take some shortcuts. However, builder models, you're going to see a lot of builder model equipment. It is viable and it will last for a reasonable amount of time. It doesn't have some of the bells and whistles of the more expensive equipment, and you may have some longevity issues with it, but it's not junk. Okay, do not be afraid to ask questions. This one's a big one. The answer should be on a layman's level. Ask him to dumb them down if you can't figure out what he's talking about. Don't just nod your head and say, oh, okay. Find out what he's talking about. Keep asking until he tells you what you need to know. Ask if the repair is permanent. Is this just a temporary thing that's going to keep you going for a while? Or is this going to last a good long time? And one of the best things to ask is, what would the tech do if it was his, or maybe better yet, his mother's appliance? Would he repair it, throw it away? What type of repair would he do? Okay, common sense. For the most part, repairs will make sense to you. They should. Ask him why he's doing certain things, and there should be a common sense answer to why. So use your common sense. Okay, the choice of what's going to be done is yours. It's not the tech's. He's there to give you technical expertise so that you can make a decision on what you want to do. He does not know your condition. He does not know what you need. One person will repair an appliance when another will replace. Same problem. One person will repair and one will replace. It depends on your finances. How about dependability, possible future repairs, or just your feelings about, do I want this thing to be down in my basement, or do I want it out? So it's your decision. And finally, you've hired this tech and his company to diagnose correctly and thoroughly, repair with good workmanship skills in a timely manner, and honestly give you a prognosis on the viability of the repair. You deserve all these things. Don't settle for less. Your questions should all be answered by the time this thing is done, and you should have a pretty good idea of what's going to happen, what it's going to cost, and so on. And that's it for the first section of this. There will be more on this about specific equipment and how long it lasts, and lots of other things as I think of them. So that's how to deal with your service tech.